In this video, I'm going to walk you through how LiveGood actually works calmly, clearly, and without the hype. So this video is for anyone who is curious about the model, who wants to understand why the timing matters, and wants to see whether it could realistically fit into their life or their business. By the end of the video, you'll understand the membership model, how people participate, and what the next step could be if you decide to explore this further. So before we talk about LiveGood specifically, I want to zoom out for a moment. We're already living in a membership-based world. Most of us pay monthly for things like streaming services, shopping memberships, software, gyms, even food and wellness. Memberships work because they're accessible on a monthly basis for most people. They're convenient and they create ongoing value. They also create stability and predictability for the company, which is exactly why businesses love them. The interesting question isn't whether memberships work. Clearly they do. The question is who benefits from them. And what's interesting is that in most traditional models, all of the profit stays with the company and with the shareholders. People who actually use the products, talk about them, and help them grow don't really share in that upside. There is another way to build a business, one that focuses on sharing value rather than stacking markups. Instead of keeping all of the profits inside the company, the LiveGood model rewards the people who help it grow through referrals, word of mouth, and community. We've already seen this shift happen in other industries. Companies like Amazon didn't win by doing things the traditional way. They won by simply simplifying access, reducing friction, and scaling through people actually using and sharing the platform. And that's where this conversation naturally goes. So to understand why models like this exist, it can help to look at what's happened before. So for a moment, let's look at Amazon, not as a company, but as an example of how consumer behavior shifts. So Amazon launched in 1995, selling books online. At the time, the idea sounded unrealistic to a lot of people. People asked questions like, who on earth is going to buy books online? Why wouldn't you just go to a shop? But what Jeff Bezos really understood wasn't about books. It was about behavior. He saw that convenience, access, and simplicity would eventually matter more than tradition. So what made Amazon successful wasn't luck, it was timing and his vision. He recognized early that consumer habits were changing, and he built a model that could grow with that change. So Amazon didn't stay as a book company for very long. It expanded into music, electronics, clothing, household items, eventually becoming a platform people rely on regularly. And today, Amazon has around 300 million members worldwide, not because people were convinced, but because over time the model simply made sense. And this is an important point. The biggest shifts don't usually happen overnight. They start quietly, feel unfamiliar at first, and then gradually become part of everyday life. And now I want you to understand how timing was playing a massive role there for Amazon, not only with what they started with, but with the evolution that they experienced with the success of selling books online and the additional growth and products that came after. And we're seeing a very similar shift in the wellness and income models. And how timing is playing an important role here too. So LiveGood officially launched on the 13th of December 2022. We're based in Florida in the US. So launching simultaneously in something like 230 plus countries with the world's first wholesale membership club. Yes, a wholesale membership club, and more on that shortly. And not only are they the first membership of its kind in the home-based arena, they're the only company that actually profit shares its membership revenue with its affiliates. The only company that profit shares its membership revenue. No one's ever done that before. So LiveGood pays you to share this little membership, this little concept, this new concept that it has, and it pays you to share with your friends and with your family and with anyone that you know, and even those that you don't. So let's take Netflix as the perfect example just for a moment. Netflix launched almost 30 years ago. So imagine when they launched their incredible movie platform that they also announced that they would pay you a nice little commission every time you referred someone to their movie platform. Plus, that then they would give you a little cut of that person's monthly subscription every single month as long as they remained members. And also, they would give you some other bonuses as well. So if Netflix had announced that 30 years ago, do you think everybody would have taken advantage of that? Do you think everybody would have gone running to sign up to this little Netflix side hustle to earn some extra money? Well, of course they would have. So imagine building a little side business, referring people to a platform like that while you're working your 9 to 5, which, by the way, most people hate. It would have been amazing, wouldn't it? And could you imagine what that little side business would look like today, 30 years on? Do you think it might have grown into something special even just 5 years, 10 years, or perhaps 20 years later? I think so. Do you think you might be sipping pina coladas on the beach somewhere? I know I would be. But Netflix didn't offer that. So sorry, they didn't. But I'm here to tell you that this is exactly a similar model that we have here with LiveGood. So the reason this example matters is because it shows what could have existed but didn't. Today, models like this are possible, and that's what LiveGood has built, a structure where people can participate in growth rather than just consume from it. And this is where LiveGood fundamentally differs from most wellness companies, not just in what it sells, but in where the revenue actually comes from. And this is where LiveGood is very different from most wellness companies. And it's an important distinction to understand. In LiveGood, revenue does not come from retail product sales in the traditional sense. You're not earning commissions based on markups or pushing products to make money. Instead, the core of the business model is the membership of itself. So members pay a simple monthly or annual fee to access products at wholesale pricing. And that reoccurring membership revenue is what supports the business. Now that matters because it removes the pressure to sell. Products are there to be used and valued, not inflated in price to fund commissions. Because the model is built on membership rather than markup, the company doesn't need overpriced products. It doesn't need to hide its ingredients or rely on aggressive sales tactics to grow. It's a much cleaner, more sustainable structure for customers and for anyone who chooses to participate on the business side. So at this point, it's also important to look at the numbers, not as hype, but as context. So LiveGood, as I said, launched in December 2022, and in a relatively short space of time has grown to over 2.1 million members worldwide across multiple countries. So that level of growth doesn't happen by accident. It usually points to three things: a model that makes sense, pricing people find accessible, and a level of trust that actually encourages people to stay. And just importantly, the company has no debt. It has a strong financial foundation and experienced leadership focused on building something sustainable rather than chasing short-term growth. So for me, numbers like these don't just mean jumping quickly. They mean this is an established, functioning business and worth taking seriously. So now I'd like to talk briefly about the leadership, because who builds a company matters just as much as what they build. Now, LiveGood was founded by Ben Galinsky, who has had decades of experience in the wealth and direct-to-consumer space. So what stood out to me wasn't just his experience, but his intention. Ben has been involved in building multiple successful companies, and he's very open about the fact that LiveGood was created differently, intentionally. So rather than maximizing profits at the expense of people, the focus here was on transparency, affordability, and long-term sustainability, building something that could last, not just something that could grow quickly. And for me, leadership like that matters. It sets the tone for everything else that follows. And LiveGood isn't built on one individual alone. The wider leadership team brings experience across operations, manufacturing, compliance, and global distribution. That includes Nelda, Dr. Ryan, and Lisa, all of whom bring years of experience in scaling businesses, responsibility, and particularly within wellness and consumer goods. So this matters because it means decisions aren't being made in isolation. The company is supported by people who understand supply chains, regulation, quality control, and what it takes to operate at scale internationally. And again, for me, this comes back to trust. A strong model needs strong leadership behind it. And this is one of the reasons I felt comfortable aligning with LiveGood. The exciting thing about LiveGood, for me at least, is how transparent and accessible the products are. But that transparency doesn't stop with the products, it runs right through the entire company. So from leadership and structure to pricing, ingredients, and the business model itself, there's a level of openness here that is very, very rare in the wellness space. When it comes to the products, ingredients are clearly listed, certificates of analysis are available to anybody, and they're not hidden. And there's no need to hide behind proprietary blends or inflated claims either. And when a company is as transparent at every level like this one, it creates trust. You're not being asked to take anything on faith. You can see how things work, what you're paying for, and why the model exists in the first place. And that kind of transparency matters because it allows people to make informed decisions, whether they're here purely as customers or whether they're exploring the business side as well. There's quite a lot on this slide, but the takeaway here is actually very, very simple. LiveGood products aren't cheaper because they're lower quality. They're more affordable because the traditional layers of markup have been removed. So in most retail models, you're paying for branding, advertising, distribution, and multiple layers of profit before a product ever reaches you. Here, the membership model replaces that. Because the business is funded through memberships rather than inflated product prices, products can be offered much closer to their true cost. This isn't about being the cheapest on the market either. It's about offering high quality products at fair, transparent prices without the usual games. And for a lot of people, that's where this finally starts to make sense. And this is also where people often have questions, especially if they're outside of the US. So questions around shipping and international access. So LiveGood operates globally. And for those outside the US, there's what's called an international wellness pack, which includes shipping and handling. And even taking shipping into account, many people find that the products are still comparable in price and are often better value than what they're currently buying locally. That's because they're still accessing wholesale pricing, transparent ingredients, and products that aren't inflated to cover layers of marketing and retail markups. So for some people, this makes complete sense straight away. For others, it's something that they do need to weigh up based on quality, trust, and what they're currently spending. So the key thing is that people have a choice and that they can decide what feels right for them with full visibility. This is the part people often miss at first, so I just wanted to slow it down a little bit here. In LiveGood, the product isn't actually the supplements. The product is the membership. The membership gives people access to wholesale pricing across the platform. That's why the business isn't funded by inflated product prices. It's funded by members choosing to belong. So this isn't about selling individual products for profit. Products are there to be used and valued, but the membership is what makes our model work. And once that clicks, everything else starts to make sense. And this is also another important distinction to make. LiveGood is not a traditional health and wellness company. LiveGood simply launched affordable health and wellness products at a time when the world really needed to get healthy, at the time of the pandemic, to help people get healthy and stay healthy affordably. So what I mean by that is that the company isn't built around selling individual products at retail prices. LiveGood is a membership-based platform that gives people access to wellness products at wholesale pricing. The products matter, quality and transparency matters, but they're not the business model. The business model is access. In the same way that wholesale clubs operate across other industries, LiveGood operates as a wholesale wellness platform, removing the usual retail layers and putting value back in the hands of its members. That's why people can join simply as customers or choose to share this membership with others without pressure, quotas, or selling. So once you see LiveGood as a platform rather than a product company, the model becomes much, much easier to understand. So at its core, LiveGood begins with health and wellness because that's something that people genuinely need and use every day. The current product ranges cover areas like foundational nutrition, gut health, energy, sleep, and overall well-being, all built around transparency and accessibility. What's also important to know is that this isn't static. LiveGood is designed as a platform, which means it can expand into other areas over time. guided by demand and aligned with the same principles of transparency and value. So people aren't just joining for what exists today, they're joining for a platform that's built to grow responsibly. So at this point, then, it's really helpful to bring everything together and summarize why people choose LiveGood. And these 6 reasons reflect what you can see here on the slide. So first, the quality of the products themselves. So LiveGood focuses on clean, transparent formulations. And because this is a platform, not a fixed product range, there is room to expand into other areas over time. Secondly is our wholesale pricing. Because the model removes traditional markups, members are accessing products much, much closer to source pricing that simply isn't available through most conventional channels. Thirdly, there's a 90-day empty bottle money-back guarantee. That means people can try the products fully, and if they're not satisfied, they can request a refund. And that level of guarantee reflects our confidence in the products, and it removes a lot of risks for customers. Fourth, there's no requirement to buy or sell products and no auto shipping. No one is checking whether you've ordered this month, and no one is pushing you to do anything. People engage at a level that suits them. Fifth, there is a reward plan for those who choose to share this platform with others. I'm not going to go into detail on this video here. There are separate videos for that. But the key point is that people can build anything from a small side income into something much bigger, depending on what they want. And finally, timing. LiveGood is still early in its global growth, but no longer unproven. It's past the new and untested phase, and it's moving into a period of steady expansion. So rather than hype, what matters to me here is its trajectory, a model that's already functioning, already scaling, and still has room to grow. Not everyone joins for the same reason, and not everybody joins and goes at the same pace. But for the people this aligns with, these 6 points usually explain why LiveGood stands out. So after watching this, if you're thinking you'd like to explore LiveGood a little further, getting started is very, very straightforward. So you can join simply as a member for the products only, or you can join as an affiliate with the option to share this platform with others and be rewarded for doing so. So as an affiliate, there's a small one-time only sign-up fee of $40, a low monthly or annual membership. That membership gives access to wholesale pricing across the platform, and if you choose the affiliate option, the ability to participate on the business side. There are no compulsory purchases, no minimum orders, and no expectation to do anything beyond what feels right for you. So if someone shared this video with you, your next step is simply to go back to them. They can answer any questions you may have, they can share their experience, and they can help you decide whether you're going to join as an affiliate or whether you just want to be a customer. If you'd like to explore further, you'll also find links below this video, along with other short videos that go into specific areas in much more detail. So take your time, ask questions if you have them, and choose what feels aligned for you. And before we finish, I just wanted to thank you for your time and your attention. If you'd like to rewatch any part of this, please feel free to do so. Take your time. It's here for you.